Whether it's your first time here or you're a regular here at Mr. Super Oz, I just want to thank you for tuning in to the channel. It exists because I, Oz, from the channel Mr. Super Oz, I wrote a 68-page graphic novel called Everlasting Survivors. Volume 1 is called All Day Long. If you follow the link in the description of this video, you can get yourself hats, shirts, posters, all kinds of fun things. But most importantly, you can get the story itself. And the more people that pick up the story, the greater the chances are that there can be continued adventures with these heroes. If you could, give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, leave a comment, enjoy. The more things change, the more they stay the same. It's once again time for WrestleMania, and that means it's time for the Mr. Super Oz triple shot. What I think will happen, what I want to happen, and my wild card pick for the show. And so, the thing is, forever and always, I thought the easiest what I think will happen was Roman wins lol, because there was a pattern developed throughout this reign where no matter what, no matter how hot the opponent was, no matter how much the crowd wanted Roman to be dethroned, whether it be Clash of the Castle with Drew McIntyre or SummerSlam with main event Jey Uso, where you could have made Jey Uso a main eventer, or even last year's WrestleMania, where Cody Rhodes in Hollywood, riding high off that Royal Rumble victory, could have done what many thought was basically his destiny. And in retrospect, I do believe should have been what happened, because his feud with Brock Lesnar would have made much more sense since Brock was barred from challenging Roman. Roman's feud with the family wouldn't have changed outside of the fact that the title wouldn't have been on the line. And you still could have had the fractures of the bloodline. It could have been the catalyst to bring in Dwayne. And instead of pretending like he was going for the title, you could have just said, "Oh, I'm here to fight for the head of the table." I don't know how you would have got them back together. Maybe you just wouldn't have put them back together. Maybe the main event or one of the big build matches of the year would have been Rock versus Roman. But the important thing is, what I think will happen is Roman Reigns will win on night one of WrestleMania to set up the ability to do non-stop shenanigans in the main event of night 2. Whether it be a surprise Brandy Rhodes appearance to slap Paul Heyman, or a out of nowhere appearance of Big Brother Dustin, which I find both of these to be far more unlikely than the possibility of Triple H and WWE bringing back big names from the past, especially since they had them cameo in the backstage beatdown segment of Rock and Cody, and have John Cena and Stone Cold be the ones to run off, or fight off, if you will, Solo and Jimmy, or Rock, Solo and Jimmy. Maybe even have Jay as the third man, which would definitely elevate him big time, with the assumption that Seth Rollins is incapable of coming out to help in the Night 2 main event due to losing the world title to Drew McIntyre. And you can even have it be that he picked up a working injury the night before in the main event of night one. That way that it extra makes sense why he's not involved, and it keeps things even. Active competitor wise, that way it's Solo, Jimmy, and Rock being taken out by Austin, Cena, and Jay, which actually makes a lot of sense given the fact that Solo's been on this big losing streak since defeating defeating John Cena back in Saudi, and obviously, you know, the Jimmy and Jay thing seems like it's going to be the forever rivalry until such time as they come back together, because they're brothers, and I don't think they will always be at odds, but it definitely feels like something that will persist until some time. What I want to see happen at WrestleMania, extra large, XL, WrestleMania 40, is in the is it 6 challengers plus the champions? No, I think it's just 6-team ladder match. I think it's just 6-team ladder matches. I want to see the titles split back up between brands. I want so badly, and I'd love for that. I'd love for Judgment Day to walk in with new title designs, because the the nickel and dime titles are so old, and I hated the penny design. Just give us something new. They can still be red and blue, and maybe even for this one walk in, uh, Finn just carries the red belt, Priest carries the blue belt, and they then hang them from the ceiling. But I would love to see in the climax of the match, R-Truth, because it has to be R-Truth, and let's say Austin Theory or Grayson Waller, it doesn't matter which one of the two, fighting at the top. I'm going to say Theory just because I feel like he needs a little more, extra. He needs that little boost. So Austin Theory and R-Truth are going at it. As a matter of fact, let's have each one of them throwing hands, but then each one grabs a different belt. Theory grabs the blue one, R-Truth grabs the red one. Then that's when Grayson Waller takes the ladder out from under them, and they both fall, each having a strap. And so, on the night, R-Truth should hug Austin Theory, thinking that they are the champions, because that's just very R-Truth. But going forward, SmackDown has their own tag division, and Raw has their own tag division, because I have the feeling, or not feeling, but it's obvious that both titles being on one team is just a disservice to the SmackDown brand specifically, because you do not get the same level of tag team action or recognition on the regular on SmackDown. And so with that, it's time for the wild card pick. The out of nowhere, the crazy thought. My wild card pick comes from an interview I heard Becky Lynch give, where she said she wanted to open night one of WrestleMania because she's already closed out a WrestleMania in the past, but she's never opened one up. And so my wild card pick is for Rhea Ripley to squash Becky Lynch in mere moments. Not quite the one move Sheamus Bryan Danielson match, but not totally dissimilar to that. You know, just and it'd be extra ironic, interesting, funny if Dom gives mommy Rhea a kiss on the cheek for good luck, and she then big boots Becky and hits her with, I don't know, let's say 3 or 4 power moves, and just wins and retains, because it's just a way to accentuate how, as they say, mommy is always on top, but more importantly, how Rhea Ripley is the primary player right now, and Becky Lynch is not, and should not, in my opinion, be the one to dethrone Rhea. I think that Rhea should lose to whomever is the next big thing, whether it be Roxanne Perez, Tiffany Stratton, Jade Cargill, whomever it is. I think that when Rhea loses, it ought to be to whoever is, the next dominant player. And so with that, my wild card pick is Becky Lynch gets squashed. No knock on Becky. I think Becky's a great wrestler, but it's a way to make things compelling, interesting, unexpected. Yeah. And so that is my WrestleMania 40 triple shot. I hope you enjoy the show. Thank you for tuning in. Later.